The PlayStation 3 era was wild. Sony came in hot with the cell processor, Blu-ray discs, and a price tag that nearly scared everyone away. But once the dust settled, the PS3 ended up being home to some of the best games of its generation. Sure, everyone remembers Uncharted, The Last of Us, and God of War 3, but buried beneath the blockbusters were games that never got the spotlight they deserved. The true hidden gems. Today we're going back to uncover those overlooked titles that made the PS3 library something special. Let's kick things off with Folklore. Released in 2007, this game is basically a dark fairy tale wrapped in an action RPG. You explore two interconnected realms, the real world, set in a quiet Irish village, and the netherworld, where you battle all sorts of bizarre creatures. The combat was unique for the time. Instead of just hacking away, you could absorb enemy abilities, almost like collecting Pokemon, but way creepier. It didn't sell well, mostly because it launched early in the PS3's life, when people were still figuring out if the console was even worth buying. But today, it's one of the most original exclusives that never got the love it deserved. Now, if you ever wonder what would happen if The Legend of Zelda got a PS3 makeover, 3D Dot Game Heroes is your answer. This action-adventure game is a massive throwback to old-school Zelda, but with a voxel art style that was both nostalgic and charming. The kicker? You could design your own hero, block by block, and then actually play as them in a game. The combat at dungeons feel ripped right out of the NES era, but with just enough modern polish to make it fun in 2010. Downside, Atlas published it, which means copies were limited and now it's pretty pricey if you want it physical. But if you can track it down, this one's a must-play for retro fans. Before Hellblade, Ninja Theory made Heavenly Sword. This was often called the PS3's God of War, but it had its own identity. You play as Noriko, wielding a cursed sword that drains her life as she uses it. The game combined fast-paced combat with some surprisingly emotional storytelling. Again, with Andy Serkis involved, this time as a villain. It came out super early in the PS3's life, so a lot of people wrote it off as just a tech demo. But looking back, it's clear it laid the groundwork for what Ninja Theory would eventually perfect. It's short, stylish, and a gem worth revisiting. Now, here's one that flew completely under the radar. Tokyo Jungle. Released in 2012, this PS3 exclusive is set in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo where all humans are gone and animals rule the streets. You can play as everything from Pomeranian to a lion, trying to survive, hunt, and even start new generations. It sounds bizarre, and it is, but that's what made it so fun. The survival mechanics, territory control, and the thrill of watching your tiny dog rise up the food chain kept players hooked, and it never got the big marketing push. But for those who found it, Tokyo Jungle became one of the most unique exclusives on the console. Here's another hidden gem that deserved way more love, Puppeteer. Released in 2013, this was a side-scrolling platformer presented as a living puppet show. You play as Kotaro, a boy who loses his head, literally, and has to swap different heads with unique powers while using a magical pair of scissors to fight enemies and solve puzzles. The game's style was absolutely stunning, with stage sets transforming in real time like you were watching a live performance. It didn't sell well at all, partly because it came out late in the PS3's life, but it's one of the most creative exclusives you can play on the system.
Sliced his way through flags, vines, anything he could sink those scissors into.
If you're looking for something completely different, Afrika is one of the PS3's strangest and most overlooked exclusives. It's not about combat at all. Instead, you play as a wildlife photographer exploring the African savanna. Armed with your camera, you set out on safaris to capture shots of animals in their natural habitat. The pacing was slow, but the visuals were gorgeous for the time, and the soundtrack was award-winning. It wasn't for everyone though, but as a relaxing, unique experience on the PS3, Afrika was a standout hidden gem. Finally, we've got Trash Panic, a downloadable PSN title that few people remember today. Think of it as a eco-themed Tetris. Objects fall into a bin and you have to crush, burn, or decompose them before the pile overflows. What made it so cool was the physics. Items didn't just disappear like in Tetris. They smashed, broke apart, or even released smoke and fire if you handled them wrong. It was chaotic, challenging, and unlike anything else on the system. As far as the digital-only exclusives go, Trash Panic is one of the quirkiest the PS3 ever got. So there you have it, PS3 hidden gems that slipped through the cracks while everyone was busy with Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto 4. These games might not have had the budgets or the marketing of the big hitters, but they each brought something fresh and memorable to the table. Did you play any of these back in the game? Or maybe you got your own PS3 hidden gem that deserves the spotlight? Drop it in the comments because I'd love to see which forgotten classics people still remember. And if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit the like button and of course subscribe for more deep dives into gaming history. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!